The Integrated Watch Radio program is very civil and informative with zero tolerance on the use of invectives and other denigrating comments. So today is Thursday, November the 11th. So it's 11/11/2021. And this edition of the program is divided into two phases. So we get update from our county field officer in Grand Bassa County, a little some fun point of this program. And then we get the view of the public on the increasing level of stealing. We're no longer going to sugarcoat this thing about stealing, calling it corruption, embezzlement. Stealing is stealing. The high level of stealing that going on across service deliveries, public service delivery, especially we will place emphasis on the Ministry of Health, the ministries of and transport. Why? We are breaking this topic back because we have received tons of complaints from our citizens about these ministries, the service deliveries, passports. The passport division at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is said to be highly corrupt. And the Ministry of Transport, the division of vehicle registration and the issuance of driver licenses, they are said to be very, very corrupt. So we have received complaints, tons of complaints from citizens about these two ministries. There are a lot of ministries. We receive complaints from RRA that there are people who are extorting people at RRA, and even people, goods and services, goods are being break into. When you bring your luggages, there are serious increased level of stealing going on at RRA. People breaking into people's luggages, taking their valuables away. We've received complaints about those institutions. We also received complaints about the Ministry of Health or birth certificate division. So, but today we are placing spotlight on foreign affairs. Specifically, we're talking about the passport division, and we're talking about the Ministry of Transport, vehicle registration, and driver license issuance division. So we're going to be talking about these two ministries quickly, but before we go there, let us give an update and honor little things that matter. So honor little things that matter. Today, we are going to provide update. We're providing updates from different follow-ups we promised that we were going to do. So we follow up on number of issues. One with the CSA. So the Civil Service Agency. Some of our callers have asked us to follow up with the CSA on two issues. They talked about the issue about handshake at the CSA. And they talk about notification, prior notice, whether people are whether it's provided by law for people to be notified prior to retirement. So they follow up on your behalf. We've committed ourselves to doing it, so we will do as we have promised to do. So on CSA, we went to the CSA, and yes, there is a practice at CSA called handshake. So handshake, according to the CSA, the directors of press, public affairs, and the director of press and public affairs, and the director of welfare. We spoke with them, and they told us that the handshake is based on tenure and not on either status, position, or maybe your qualifications. No, that's not what it is based on. Rather, it is on the basis of tenure. And they said it is divided into four different categories. Four different categories for payment. The determination for payments are made on the basis of four categories. So category 1 year of service to 24 years of service. So if you served the CSA or the civil service or the public sector from 1 year to 24 years, you are entitled to a handshake of $350 US. I say that again. If you serve the public service from 1 year to 24 years, you are entitled to a handshake of $350 US. If you served the public service from 25 years to 29 years, 25 to 29, you are entitled to 500 United States dollars. 500 United States dollars from 25 to 29. So if you serve from 25 to 29, you are entitled to 500 United States dollars. The third category, you have 30 years to 39 years. If you served 30 years to 39 years, you are entitled to a handshake of 700 United States dollars. And if you served from 40 years up and above, you are entitled to 1,000 United States dollars handshake. So that is the issue about handshake. Yes, there is a practice at CSA for handshake with retirees. So it is the CSA way of appreciating you for your service to the CSA. And these are the categories through which you are paid or you receive this money. So the process is done by the CSA and then sent to the Ministry of Finance for disbursement. The second issue, prior notice for retirement, before retirement. On this matter, there has been problem. The directors acknowledge that there has been problem on notification. They stated that MACs, ministries, agencies, and commissions, they have not been responding to providing names of people who are supposed to be retired and also furnishing those who are supposed to be retired with the date and the year of their retirement. They said these issues have been coming up from these different MACs. So that has been the problem. That is the reason why there has been issues with people being abruptly retired and or going to access their money, and then at the end of the day they are told that you've been retired. It's because information dissemination has not been, there has been breach in information dissemination from the CSA through your different ministries, agencies, and commissions. And the head of commissions, the HRs, have not been furnishing the CSA with names of people who are eligible for retirement. So what's happened? The CSA now is determining people who are eligible for retirement. The CSA is now not waiting for MACs, heads of or HRs to submit names of eligible candidates for retirement. Rather, the CSA is proceeding with that effort. How? They said they are using the government payroll because those who are being paid, you have your date of entry and your date of birth and everything, your bio data is in the system. They use that system to be able to generate names of people who are eligible for retirement. So that's it. Then this matter, we have asked the CSA, the directors of welfare and communications, to come on this show either on Wednesday or Thursday so that they can provide additional information to civil servants about issue about handshake and what has been the problem with prior notice. Because according to the law, according to the standing order, they're supposed to be notified 3 months or 1 year prior to your retirement. But this has not happening according to our colors. So we follow up with the CSA, and that's what it said. So thank you. I hope we were able to do you justice to provide the information that you needed. So the next thing we want to talk about is the issue about Madam Martin Keita. So the coordinator of a special project in the office of the president was accused of soliciting bribe from an investor, 5 million United States dollar bribe from an investor. The president asked that he suspended her, reportedly suspended her, and asked that his legal advisor proceed with investigation. We have made follow-ups with different ministries, with the Ministry of State. We have not had any concrete information about whether or not the effort has ever started. So we spoke with the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Mr. Nathaniel Falomagil. He told us that the matter has been forwarded to the Liberia National Police with the acquiescence of the LSCC, but the LSCC told us that this matter has not reached the LSC as we speak. We also spoke with the LMP. We called the LMP and to find out. My colleague Moses said from the feedback I got from Moses, he said he was not in office, but it sounded very strange to Moses that this matter has been forwarded to the police. So it sounded strange to Moses. So I would give Moses the benefit of the doubt so that he can follow up. I called Moses. Moses said he would have called. He should have called yesterday. He promised to have called back yesterday, but he didn't call back because the police authority they were there yesterday to provide us information whether or not this matter has been forwarded to the police. But with the LCC, clear cut, the matter has not reached the LCC. So we still follow with the police to find out where we are on this matter. So there are two, and we also follow up on the case that were forwarded from the Ministry of Justice to the LCC. So the LACC sent cases to the Ministry of Justice for prosecution and or investigation. The Ministry of Justice sent 2 of those cases back to the LACC and said it was within their statutory responsibility to investigate, so they should not, send their responsibility to the Ministry of Justice. So I follow up with the LACC to find out the status of these cases. So there are 2 cases, the LWSC, the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, a case involving the managing director and his court. This matter, according to the LACC team, this matter is being investigated. In fact, the people who were accused, the parties accused have been asked to restitute the money or be prosecuted. So the legal team, LACC, they've been engaging with them and they are engaging with them. We also follow up on a case involving the vice chair of the LACC, Councillor Kanyo Bagbala. So this matter, according to the program manager, the program manager at the investigative division, he said, yes, this matter, we've taken responsibility of it and we are investigating it. We are gathering all necessary pieces of documents so that we can proceed with whether prosecution or whatever thing that's supposed to be done. So I was concerned, we were concerned about conflict, whether or not they were going to be impartial in their investigation. He said the investigative division of the LACC reports directly to the Board of Commissioners. So the vice chair, the chair, they have no direct responsibility over the workings of the investigative team. So they work and they are going to do this work very independently. So those are things that they told us. So those are the follow-ups that we made over the week, and then there are other things that we promised to follow up on, and when we will follow up and provide you update on those matters. So we will firstly go to our county field officers county field officer in Grand Bassa County, Mr. Newman Witton. Newman Witton is our county field officer in Grand Bassa County. We're going to speak with him this morning to provide us update on his activity in the county over the month, and then from there we will go to our next talking point so that we can get your view on the issue about stealing going on reportedly at the Ministries of Foreign Affairs and Transport. Okay, so we now go to the line to speak with Mr. Newman Witton. He is the County Field Officer of the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. He's assigned in Grand Bassa County. Good morning, Newman. Newman, good morning. How are you? How is Grand Bassa County, specifically Buchanan City? Newman, are you okay? Newman, are you getting me? Okay, let's go ahead. Let's hear you. How is Buchanan? Great. How's your family doing? Great. All right, let's hear you. Where are we? What have you been doing over the past period, the month, October? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. What specific activities you've been engaged with over the period in Grand Bassa? Okay. Okay. So what the enthusiasm that you are getting from the people, are they enthusiastic about the awareness program? Okay, Newman, are you just scattered across the county, or are you restricting your engagement with specific communities? If so, what are the communities you have earmarked for engagements? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mhm. Great. Okay, Newman, do we have specific stats or statistics about those who you've engaged in terms of the number of persons? Yes, one, and then we can disaggregate to male and female. Do we have that statistic? Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 Great. So when these female, because I'm asking this question specifically from the backdrop of this project emphasizes on female participation. So how do they, see this process, especially the issue about discussing and sharing, thoughts on corruption? And also, corruption is not only perceived to be seated in a particular place. The little things we do in the homes, in the market, and people think to not to consider them to be very important in regards to corruption, maybe issues about corruption. So, what are the females thinking about these discussions about corruption and targeted building? Are they participatory in the process? Yeah. Okay. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, just one clarity. The issue about corruption in homes and or marketplaces are not restricted to females, but rather my question was their participation in the forum. Are they being enthusiastic to have engaged to be engaged, ask questions, what encouragement are you giving to them so that we all can join this fight? Mhm. Great. Sure. Great. Let's hear your plan for the month of November. Where are we on your plan? Okay. Mm-hmm.
We have two activities. One are already being held in Gordon, and we could have another two activities to the direct to the community to them.
Okay, great. Okay, let's hear some of the things maybe we wanted to have talked about and we didn't ask you. Let's hear those quickly.
Well, citizens and community members are also concerned how long will they actually take if they came out to redress, to get redress. And we know the good match is happening to legal advice, and it's not a court, but they are there to help you give the legal advice. They also follow up on cases or issues reported. So they are very concerned. Community members are also asking whether we can have more items and things that we off, and we are promising that we increase the number of supplies to community to be able to prepare the message to heroes that we are about.
Great. Okay, Norman, thank you so much. It's good having you on the line with the update. Thank you ever so much. When the need be, we'll get back to you in May or by the end of November.
Thank you so much. I'm happy that we are moving this way and citizens are welcome to the idea. Together we can build a culture of two trends without the
Thank you. Okay, that's the voice of Neiman Witton. He is our county field officer. He's assigned in Grand Bassa County, and he's been providing us update on his activities in Grand Bassa over the period. He said he's currently working in 3 communities in New Barra community. He's working in Piachuzon community. He's working in Gozon community. So these are the communities he's working in. So the essence of restricting the community engagement to 3 is because we want frequent visitation to these communities. We want frequent, engagement with the community people, so that we can have greater impact. Because if we are scattered across the county, we may not have the impact as compared to us being in a specific place that when one gets there, they can be able to get information, and somebody can stand up and say, yes, these people have been here, and we have heard messages about corruption and how we all can join the fight against corruption. So this is what we are doing. And in all of the counties, the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program is been implemented in 7 counties. So in these 7 counties, we have county field officers in the 7 counties. So the fight against corruption, it requires all of us joining hands to fight corruption from our homes, our marketplaces, and everywhere you find yourself, whether in the office or anywhere. So we can do this, we can win this fight only if we join hands and fight together. Thank you ever so much. We will take a break. When we come back, we go over to the next segment of our program to get your view on students at the 2 ministries we talked about. Let's take a break. Welcome back to the program. Integrity Watch is a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is aired every Thursday on ECOWAS Radio and relayed on Palm FM. It runs from 11 to 12 noon. It is a primary radio-based communication and information dissemination platform of CENTAL. So today, the next segment of our program, we are looking at 2 ministries. Again, the reason for bringing this discussion back to you is because we have received lots of complaints. They stand tall amongst the different ministries or service providers, public service providers that are being accused of corruption. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Transport, the Division of Driver's License Issuance and Vehicle Registration. And then the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Division of Passports. Let's start with passport, the Division of Passport at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. At the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, when you stand right at the fence of Stella Maris University and just look across the road and see the number of persons gathered there as early as 6 in the morning. Some even get there as early as 5:30 in the morning to book a space. They will assemble there, and you see the queue from the gate all the way climbing up the hill. People are just stooping there to have access to passport. And what's happening there? There is no indication, not one, in that division to outline. They talk about online services. Yes, you go online. If you get there with an online paper, you still have to pay money to go through the process there. According to the colors that we've spoken with or our sources, you pay $5 for online service. They have the people there who's supposed to do it, even though you've done yours, but you have to do it there. And after that, you go through the other process. And when you see the queue, you are even discouraged to leave. You don't even want to participate in that process. So if you see somebody who's coming to you to tell you, say, oh, that is the reason why they are corrupting the people, because the providers are either slow or they are doing it deliberately, so the place can be overcrowded, and they can use that opportunity to extort money from them. So if you outline the procedures that are supposed to be followed, and the people come and they see those procedures, the procedure outlined, step 1 is this, step 2 is this, step 2 is that, step 3 is that. When they see those things, and those who are providing the services, those who are seated behind the desks, they have people who are monitoring them. Why should we monitor them? As early as 6 in the morning or 8 o'clock, let's assume that you start work at 9 o'clock. Assuming that you start work at 9 o'clock. As early as 9 in the morning, you have over 20 papers on your desk already while people are in queue. They are not the papers you have on your desk are not from the people in the queue. Those are all connoisseur papers, and all the people who are providing services, they have those papers on their desk. Number of papers on their desks. While the people are in the queue, they cannot have access to for people to take their papers from them. So if you have one supervising these people who are seated behind the desks, asking them why are those papers doing on your desk? Who are they for? What are you doing with them? Was it only one person standing in front of you? I see 10 papers on your desk. Who are those papers for? Take them away. By that, you will control and make sure that people who get administration as early as 5 wasting themselves. In this country that we find ourselves, where people are dying unexplained deaths are occurring all across the place, and people wasting themselves to get to service delivery center as early as 5 in the morning, and then they get maltreated as they are going through. This is completely unacceptable. At the Ministry of Transport, of recent, the ministry is carrying on inspection. So if you are a vehicle owner or a driver, you don't want to be subjected to the embarrassment of being parked or your vehicle being impounded. Or, you are pounded, and at the end of the day, you have to pay something so that you can leave. So what's the essence of going through all of those headaches? So the best thing to do is to go and register or go and pay for your driver's lesson. Again, at that ministry, there is no indication, not whatsoever, to indicate indicate what he's supposed to go through. So you get there are people who are just standing all around from outside all the way inside. They are having all vexed, asking, what have you come to do? Only because they want you to pay them extra, more than what you're supposed to pay to get to access your document. So if this, in order to curtail these things, if we have people who are monitoring these people with integrity who will monitor them to make sure that the right things are done. If you don't have the outline out, then you have people, it's necessary that you have people who will monitor these people so that they do the right thing. So that people who have come to pay lawful revenue, to pay money to the government, are treated with dignity. People cannot come, the passport division, the retrogress. The passport division, recently I read in the paper, the director was posting about generating 400,000 Liberian dollars, US dollars rather. Mr. Director, you can generate more than that if you do the right thing. You can generate more than that. But because the cost side are too much, people have been humiliated to pay money to the government's revenue. That is the reason why you're boasting of 400,000. You could generate even more than that, only if you do the right thing and make sure that the people who get there to be served are served. And people stop going, back doors. Stop collecting papers from all in the corners and doing it. So the same as the Ministry of Transport. Nobody is monitoring. So everybody is doing his or her own thing. Nobody, not at all. The processes that should be followed, very important processes that should be followed. People are bypassing those processes because they are paying little or nothing to be able to bypass the processes. They are very important. The eye test, very important. The driving test, very important. But most people who access they don't do those, they don't go through those things. That's the reason why you have road accidents, increasing number of accidents. Most of the accidents are avoidable. But I mean, because people don't go through the right procedure to get on the steering, so that's the reason why they just do anything. So, like we said, we have come with this topic today. We're breaking it back because we keep receiving complaints about it. So I've come to ask you, what's your experience? Share your experience. Give us recommendation. What is your experience with these two ministries? There are a lot of ministries and agencies providing services that are accused of equal corruption that are taking place there, stealing that are taking place there. But today we are restricting it to two ministries. We're talking about the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Passport Division, we invited the CSA people to come on next week. So I'm going to have them so that I can provide more clarity and you can have ask all of the questions you want to ask. So let's restrict the discussion today to yeah. Yeah, sure. All right. All right. Thank you ever so much. All right. The number to call 0779 0000691. Share your experience with the Ministry of Sport, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Transport, Vehicle Registration Division. What have you experienced? We have another on the line. Good morning. Yes, let's hear you. Where are you calling from and your name? Okay, so let's hear you. So, okay. Okay. His, okay, Solomon. Okay. All right, Solomon. Let's hear you about the top panel discussion. What do you make of? Have you had any experience with the Ministry of Transport and Foreign Affairs on? Yeah, let's hear it. Solomon, Solomon. I mean, the I've had Solomon. Mhm. Thank you, Solomon. Thank you, thank you. Your points are well noted. All right, share your experience. So the Ministry of Transport, the Division of Vehicle Registration and Travel License Issuance, and also with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Passport Division. What's your experience? Have you had any experience with this or ministries? Okay, we have a caller. We have a caller on the line. Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from? Kekula, let's hear you. Mm-hmm. Kekula, wait a minute. You pay $55 and they gave you 45 receipt. Who did you pay the 55 to? No, I'm asking you, I'm asking a question. Kekula. All right. My question to you is, Kekula, no, take it easy. Take it easy. I wanted to ask you some questions, but no, don't. No, calm down and deal with the issue. Go there and find out what happened. So I wanted to ask you, do you pay the 55 to the lady, right? And then the extra money you paid was intended to facilitate the process. Is that why you did? So then, and then they gave you the lessons, and now they are telling you that the lesson is fake, right? So you obtain the lessons right on the spot, the same day from the lady. No, I'm asking the question. I'm asking. I want to. Yeah, Kekula. I want to get something. Did you get the lesson the same day from the lady at the ministry when you went there, or they told you to come back for it another time? You were there. She brought it to you, right? Great. I want to get some because it seems like there's a syndicate that may be going on, established there. So that's why I want to know. So thank you so much. I have to follow up on this particular matter again. It seems there's something bigger than what we are seeing. Okay, thank you, Kekula. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, the number to call to be back on the program. Share your experience. 077 0779 0000691. We have another caller on the line. Good morning. Good morning. Name and where are you calling from? Okay, Abraham, let's hear you. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so your recommendation is the director should be changed. No, I think The one he reporting that the one that governing the government revenue. Okay, thank you so much, EB. The points are well noted. He's recommending that the director be sacked. All right, let's hear you. Share your points. Share your experience with the ministries transport and foreign affairs. What have you experienced with these ministries? They are providing services to the people of Liberia. They are generating revenue on behalf of the government of Liberia. The Ministry of Transport is a revenue generation generating in Ministry of Government. Hello, good morning. Your name and where are you calling from? Let's hear you. Your name and where are you calling from? Great. I'd like to hear intellectuals. Let's hear you. Share your experience. Ministry of Transport, Foreign Affairs. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, make your point. Make your point. Make your point. Say why you know. Don't about what another caller said. Say why you want to say. Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. Okay. The program is Integrated Watch, the 1 hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability. Today, we've been talking about the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. These two ministries, along with other ministries and agencies, are revenue generating arms of the government of Liberia. So they generate revenue for the government. So the people who pay revenue are the people of Liberia. So they assemble to these places to pay lawful revenue to the government. But then the process of paying these revenues are not very satisfactory. There need to be serious effort mechanism put into place to control the issues about corruption in these places. There are a lot of people who are just turning to these places. What are they doing there? I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to say this, but serious thing to be done. You need to do something. You who are in charge. So the program you've been listening to is called Integrated Watch. It's a 1 hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is aired every Thursday on ECOWAS Radio 91 FM and is reviewed on Prime FM 105.5 FM. My name is Sam Zora. I'm the Media and Communications Officer at the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. My colleague Mark Bonda, who has been behind the camera making sure our visibility goes beyond the studio on Integrated TV. Join us next Thursday for another edition of the program. Goodbye.